Doug Gottlieb is the new head coach at Green Bay. A little bit of a twist. He has also confirmed he's going to keep his job as a radio host for Fox Sports Radio. It's a 2-hour radio show 5 times a week while running a Division I men's basketball program. You optimistic this is going to go well?
Probably not. Yeah. It could be good for promoting Green Bay, though.
Except here's the problem, and like I was saying, you cannot go on your national radio show and talk about Green Bay basketball
in the A block
or in the D block, in any block. And all of our instincts, maybe not all of us. I shouldn't include everybody in it, but your instincts are to talk about what you know and what you're living and what you're enjoying and what you're doing. I think I do it more than most.
Yeah.
But you can't go talk about Green Bay basketball on Fox Sports Radio. Nobody cares, right?
That's right.
So, like, you need to be talking about the Cowboys and the 49ers and the Chiefs. And, like, I just don't know how you can do both of these things effectively. Like, obviously, Doug can effectively host a radio show. He's been doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I don't have any real opinion about whether he can effectively run a basketball program. But I'm open-minded to it. I don't have any idea. Sometimes people who have never done this do well. Sometimes people who have never done this don't do well. Mm-hmm. Hiring at the mid-major level is always risky. So we'll see. But I'm not sitting here saying Doug Gottlieb's going to fail because he can't run a basketball program. I don't know that. What I do know is that hosting a 2-hour radio show every day is like real time consuming. Mm-hmm. And I'm not certain how you can do that well and then also run a Division I men's basketball program well. There are times during the season, if I'm just being honest, where I don't feel like I'm doing anything well because I'm doing so many things. Like I have this moment of self-doubt and maybe self-hate even, where I feel like I'm working myself to death, but I don't feel like I'm doing anything well because I'm doing too much. It's just there's so much to do. I'm spread too thin. And I always get through it. And I hope it's never as bad as I imagine it in my head.
Right.
But I do start to feel that way.
Yeah,
I'm not spending enough time on any one thing because I got too many things to spend time on. But here's the difference. I'm still kind of all working under the same umbrella of things, which is I'm talking about stuff happening within the sports world. Mm-hmm. And so that's easier to manage, I would assume, than trying to actually run a basketball program and everything that is involved in that. And you got to do a 2-hour show. Because here's the other thing about a 2-hour show. It ain't just 2 hours of time commitment. I mean, everybody does everything different ways. But on a normal day, I'll spend more time getting ready for this show than I will spend doing the show. If I'm going to be here for an hour 45 on a normal day, whatever, I'll spend more time than that getting ready for the show. So it's not just, it's only 2 hours a day. No, it probably should be about 4 hours a day, maybe even more. And you talk to any college basketball coach, especially during the season, they'll tell you they're so overwhelmed. Like, if you ever try to call an ACC coach and ask him about a Big Ten game from last night, they're like, what are you talking? I don't have no idea what's going on in that league. I know what's going on with my team and the people we're playing, and I just don't have time for anything else. That's what coaches tell you. And Doug's going to have time to do a 2-hour radio show every day?
I don't think so.
I just think, I bet you this, in 1 year he will not be doing both of these jobs.
I agree.
Because he will find out, even if he can do it, he will find out that his life would be so much more manageable to just pick one. Pick this one thing, whatever it is, and pursue it. But trying to do both of these things, I just think it feels like it's too much. Maybe he'll knock it out of the park, and I'll be rooting for him, I guess. But I don't know, man. It seems like
it also feels like there's
difficult.
A bit of a conflict of interest once college basketball season rolls around, and that's like a big topic on talk radio.
Well, you are going to get Doug Gottlieb, college basketball commentator. He might not be talking about Green Bay basketball on Fox Sports Radio on a random Thursday during the season, but he will be talking about Duke, and he will be talking about North Carolina and Kansas. So what if John Shire does something? Is the head coach at Green Bay going to go on national radio and criticize the head coach at Duke?
I know.
It's very unusual.
It is.
The lines are blurred. Matt Norlander said this to me yesterday when we were talking about it. Like, he's not comfortable with a coach working in the media. And I'm just like, I get it, I guess, if you want to hold on to old school journalism rules or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Dion kind of does it.
Well, I mean,
Draymond
Green was on the media last night.
That's right.
You know, Draymond Green was there criticizing Rudy Gobert on TV last night.
Right.
So how far removed is Doug Gottlieb from that, right? It's a basketball coach, also as a member of the media. And with Draymond, you get a basketball player who is also an active member of the media. So I'm not offended by, are we blurring lines between the media and whatever? Because it's just not really a thing anymore. It used to be when I was coming up.
It's not. You're right.
Like, I was a graduate of the University of Memphis, and I had, I was proud. I was proud of my alma mater. So my license plate was a University of Memphis license plate, right? When I became the beat writer at the Commercial Appeal, I took that off my car. I didn't want my kids, at this point I only had one, Aiden, he was never photographed or out and about, like in Memphis gear, or, my wife went to Ole Miss gear. I wouldn't do any of it because I was so worried about the optics. Like, if a Memphis fan sees my kid in Ole Miss gear, how is that going to play on a Memphis message board? Or if a Memphis fan sees my kid in Memphis gear, or other fans see my kid in Memphis gear, how's that going to play? Now I just don't care about that. My kids will be in Mississippi State stuff one day, Ole Miss stuff the next day, Memphis stuff the next day, Grizzlies stuff, Mets stuff. I just don't care. I don't know whether it was Bill Simmons or Scott Van Pelt, or somebody else, but somewhere along the way, it became acceptable to be a fan and a reporter, be a fan and a sports commentator. And so I'm not offended by, is this really okay? A coach working in the media? My objection to it is simply from a time, the time consumption that it takes to do both of these jobs. I don't know how a normal person could do both of these things well. Maybe he's so great that he'll be able to do both of these things great, but I wouldn't try it. If I were trying to break into college coaching, you know what I'd be trying to do? Focused on college coaching.
Yeah.
Not focused on, the Timberwolves lost last night and I got to spend 20 minutes. Like, that's what I did last night. I watched a basketball game, then I thought about what I wanted to say about it, then I put it down and organized my thoughts, and then I, came in studio and I delivered my thoughts. I had time for that. If I were running a basketball program, particularly in the middle of the season, I don't know how you have time to do all of those things. But like I said, I wish him luck.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.